Hi everyone, so welcome to today's video. This is going to be part 2 of my speed reviews. I've already posted part 1 and this is just going to be those quick golden pieces of information that you really need to determine whether or not a product is actually worth it. Do you want to buy it or do you want to pass? So we're going to go ahead and jump right in because we got to finish off this big old bucket full of product and let's just go ahead and get to it. The Catrice Instant Perfecting Soft Mousse. I have one shade, comes in 2 different shades. This is a moussey type of product that kind of has that kind of bounce and fluffiness to it. I think of a souffle every time I use this. The shade 20 is a little dark. It gives a bit of a tint of color. But what I like about this is that it evens out the skin tone, gives me a little bit of glow, and it actually creates a more slightly mattified look to the skin if I put this directly over the top of my skincare products. And it doesn't really alter the way my foundation looks or wears, which is great. Doesn't really change too much the tone of my foundation either, just because this is a little bit darker. The shade is called Neutral Beige. And I like using this just for a little hint of color. I much prefer this formula, which is a little bit more whipped and airy and moussey, over something like the Face and Body that we talked about from Revlon. This is just too glowy, too glittery. And I like this formula, more moussey kind of texture versus those bronzy glowy drops. I just prefer this one over those. Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation. This one is one of those that's kind of hit or miss for me. I do not like this foundation paired with the new Maybelline primers. The only one that I think that works out of the 2 primers that they launched recently is the jelly one, which I do like. This foundation, I think the shade is just a little off. It's a little light. 110 is the one that I ordered. I like the packaging and the look of it. Really nice. Maybelline has great foundations. One of the better brands at the drugstore for foundations. But this one, it doesn't pair well with the primers that I own from Maybelline. Now, with other primers, it's fine. Sometimes if my skin is going through a dry patch, this will cling and not look really nice. So again, I have to prep my skin really nicely to make this work. Is it my #1 choice from Maybelline? No. I think I prefer their skin tint over this, which comes in like a dropper form. And I just prefer some other formulas from the drugstore over this. But it's not terrible. It's not bad. I did not wear it for 30 hours, so I don't even know if it wears that long. I did wear it for a good 12 hours, and it was fine. No issues with the wear time. And it's kind of polarizing Lumi Matte, but it's, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of gimmicky to be more matte, but then also Lumi for luminous. I don't know. I just feel like it's more of a, I would say more of a satin kind of finish. Not quite matte and dry, but it's not glowy, luminous, like the name would suggest that you would think. I think this is more of a satin kind of finish, and it's okay for me. The Maybelline Lifter Sticks. I was really excited to try these because sticks are making a comeback, especially at the drugstore. We have lots of stick products launching. And I like the Lifter Stick formula for bronzer. The shade that I have in that is 70. For the complexion tone, shade 10 is okay. It's got a little bit of a peachy vibe. I don't really like this. I like the glide and the smoothness, but I feel like this formula settles into larger pores. If you have dryness, I feel like it clings to that. I would have to prep the skin really well, so I would say skip it for complexion, but maybe try it for the bronzing tones. I don't know, up to you, but not really a fan of the formula in general. I would prefer the Physicians Formula Bronzing Stick over this one, and I would say it's a pass for any sort of complexion tone colors. Hard Candy Lip Blurs. These are actually really nice. They're a nice, comfortable matte finish. It's like a chubby crayon style product that you can just twist up. It has a sponge tip blotter on the end that you can use to kind of smudge it out and give that kind of blotted, smudgy look to the lips. The formula is what you see is what you get. Very pigmented, super creamy, very nice, very luxurious feeling for the Hard Candy brand. So I feel like they've definitely revamped their lip products, and these lip blurs are actually really nice. Very comfortable, and they have quite a few shades to choose from, and I actually like these. I do recommend them. Now, along with the lines of the lip blurs from Hard Candy, they do have something very similar, but with a shiny, kind of more glossy finish. I have 2 shades. These are the Lip Shines, and again, it's that kind of chubby pencil look where it's kind of in between a lip liner and a shadow stick kind of size, so that gives you kind of a frame of reference there. Again, very creamy, glossy, and pretty. I like these formulas as well, and I would recommend these as well as the matte ones. And these Lip Shines come with a sharpener, where the matte ones come with the blotted kind of sponge tip applicator. Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Stick. This is actually nice. I have shade number 3. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like I said, sticks are kind of making a comeback, especially at the drugstore. And I much prefer this formula over the Lifter Sticks from Maybelline. And I think this is one of the better stick formulas for complexion at the drugstore. I think they did a nice job. I like the glide and that kind of smooth texture that it has. It comes with a sub cap, which it tells you to keep so it doesn't dry out. And it has a nice secure lid. So I feel like this product is going to last a long time. And of course, with stick products, you don't get quite as much as you would with maybe like a liquid formula. And I think most of us already know that by now. You're going to sacrifice a little bit of the formula as far as like the amount, but the coverage is nice. It's very light. I would say this is probably something that gives you a light, slightly buildable to maybe light medium-ish. You're not going to get full coverage out of this. If that's what you're looking for, I would say pass. But this is great for just simple no makeup days. Something if you want a little bit of a kind of evening out the skin tone, you can use this and kind of blend it in with your fingers. So I do like. The new L'Oreal Highlighter Sticks. I have 3 shades. They come in 2 different formulas. One that gives you that glassy, wet look to the skin, that kind of glazed donut. And then one that is just the regular glow, which gives you that typical cream highlighter effect. I love them. My favorite one, though, is the Glowy Sparkling Rose, which is what I have on today. Absolutely beautiful, and 1000% recommend this shade. Love this formula. And I actually do like the Lay Glass, even though I'm not a huge fan of glossy, kind of emollient, wet, Vaseline kind of finish on the skin. I do like this one, and I think it's just because of the color. The glassy pink ballet is really, really beautiful. I use my fingers, and I kind of just pick some of it up and just kind of tap it. That's the best way. You can also swipe if that's what you choose to do, but I like using my finger to tap, especially that glassy one. And it does give you that kind of wet, glowy, kind of lip balm look to the skin. You have to like that to appreciate that. But even though for me, that I don't typically go for that finish, I like it. And I think it looks really pretty. And L'Oreal is my favorite brand at the drugstore. So of course, I'm going to be all over their new launches. And these are exceptional. e.l.f. liquid contours. These are actually really nice. Very pigmented, but very user-friendly. I have 2 shades. One that's a bit cooler for contouring and one that's a bit warmer to use as a liquid bronzer. I love this formula. I think you can't go wrong with it. And I think that it's very easy to use. You really don't need a lot. Like one little dot gives you so much. And let me just show you. The consistency is a little bit on the thinner side with a lot of pigment. You need just a dot on each side and just a couple dots across the forehead to get that nice bronzy finish. And I like how it blends over every foundation that I've ever paired with this. Doesn't lift, doesn't look patchy. The contour shade is shade number Fair, which I believe is number 1. And it is a little bit on the cooler side. Now I'll just show you that. It has much more gray, which you would typically find in a lot of contour products. They have a little bit of gray to create that shadow. I don't reach for this one as much as I do the other one, which the other shade that I own is Light, which I think is number 2 or 3. This one I do like more because it's more of that bronzy tone, but the formula is an A+. e.l.f. expanded their new shade range of lip oils. These do not have shimmer. They have 2 or 3 shades. I have 2 of them here in front of me. It's giving Guava and Money Mauve. These are beautiful. The mauve took me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to like it because it looks a little too dark, like a plummy brown, but it's incredibly beautiful and so flattering on the skin. I just adore this. And like I said before, e.l.f. is my favorite lip oil formula. They cannot go wrong. So every time they come out with some new shades, new finishes, I'm all for it. And these are 1000% a yes. Catrice Aqua Grip Primer. I actually do like this. Like I said before, I have a love and hate relationship with grippy primers. They don't all do the same thing. They don't all work well. The level of grip is different. This one has a little bit of that grippy feel, but it also has that hydrated feel where it doesn't feel like it's pulling on my skin when I'm blending this in. And I do think this is one of the better grippy primers that I've tried and one that I can see myself definitely using and recommending. The infamous Revlon lip product is back. It's revamped, better packaging. The old packaging was darker. I love the white with the gold accents. I have 3 shades and these are just wonderful. They have a little bit of color to them. The lightest shade that I own, Pink Flip, looks clear, but the other shades, Nude Illuminator and Girly Swirly, have some pigment. These are like a tinted lip balm. It has a little bit of color, kind of similar to a lipstick, but not quite as opaque as a traditional lipstick. Has that kind of balmy, glossy feel. Very comfortable. You can wear them alone, pair them with a lip liner. These are just great for touch-ups, great for on the go. I love them, and I'm so happy that they brought these back, and I think a lot of us who loved the original formula are happy to see these come back to our local drugstores. The NYX Lip IVs. These are a very unique formula. It feels very cooling, very wet, kind of thin, more gel-like consistency on the lips, but these have a nice kind of gloss, a lot of pigment. But what makes this unique is not just the formula and the way it feels and how it goes on, but it's the fact that these actually leave a stain behind. So when that kind of glossy top layer goes away, as the day progresses, you are left with a nice, pretty stain underneath. These are beautiful. I love them. I think that these are probably the most unique lip product that I've ever tried from the drugstore, and definitely something completely unexpected from NYX. I do recommend these. The Lip IVs are incredible. The Revlon Color Stay Multi-Liner, these are meant to be used on the eyes, the face, and the lips. I have one shade and I do like this formula. It's quite pigmented and it wears a long time. It's part of the Color Stay line. So I do think that this is a great formula. This one has a brush applicator on the end, so you can use that to smudge this out on the lips. You can use it to smudge it across your eyes as an eyeliner. You can do so much with these. And I like that kind of multi-purpose kind of look and feel to a product where you can use it for different things, streamline the process of getting ready. The formula is great, very pigmented, and I do want some lighter shades. The shades that they launched seem quite dark, so if they come out with some nude shades and some lighter, like everyday shades, I would definitely pick those up. Wet n Wild Wing It Out Waterproof Liner. This is actually a love and hate for me. I love the intense ultra black pigment that it has, but I don't really care for the angle. This is meant to give you a winged look and make it easier for application. I don't wear wing liner because I can never get it to match, and I don't have time for that. Sometimes when I'm getting ready, I have to be pretty quick in the mornings, and this is just not going to cut it for that, for wing purposes for me. As far as it being a liner, it's just okay. I like that richness and that sort of depth that the black has, but I wish that the formula was easier to apply and had a bit more glide. The applicator, since it is angled, it has a bit of stiffness to it, so it's not as soft and flexible as a brush tip liquid liner would have. So I just kind of wish they would change that a little bit. And if they did, then this would be a really great option. So for me, it's one of those kind of a time and a place. When I want a bold, really intense liquid liner look, this is what I would reach for. The Catrice Peptide Lip Tints. These are actually really nice. Has a hint of color and it feels really nice. A really slimline squeeze tube here that you can kind of squeeze on the go, put it in your purse, carry it in your pocket, put it in your makeup bag. Doesn't take up a lot of space. I do think that the inspo for this could possibly be the Peptide Lip Tints from Rhode, maybe. I don't know. They do have very similar packaging, very thin, very small, but I like these and they're much more affordable, and they're your typical lip gloss formula where it has a little bit of a tint, a nice glossy shine. Again, that squeeze tube makes it very easy for application. You can just put this on and you're good to go. So I do like these and I would reach for them again, and I would recommend them. They're actually not a bad formula for a lip tint. NYX Duck Plump Plumping Lip Liner. What a mouthful. This actually does sting and burn, and I'm not a fan of it. I like the color. The shade that I own is Pink Jection. It's a really nice kind of pinky shade. I kind of tend to go for pink colors. As you can see, I'm wearing a pink lip today. But this actually burns my lip. The first time I used it, I only felt it on my Cupid's bow, and the second time when I lined top and bottom and filled it in, that's when the intense stinging and burning came in, and I'm not a fan. I don't like when lip products feel painful, so this is a no for me. Wet n Wild Lip Liner Stain. Yes, lip liner stain. You heard that right. It's a different type of product. It's kind of similar to the one from Stila that has that kind of thin, almost like a paddle shape on one side that you can go flat, and then you can put it on its side and use it to line your lips. I like the stain. It's a really pretty color. When this fades and goes away, it's a light kind of rosy pink tint to the lips, but it is something that you have to have a little bit of patience with, because when you make a mistake, you have to clean it up really quick because of that stain. If you want something that's long wearing that stays on really well, I think you will really like this. I would actually use this all over, not necessarily as a lip liner. I would start with lip lining first, and then I would turn it on its side and fill this in, and then top it with something else. So when that other product fades, I'm left with the tint of this. So I do like it. It's just kind of one of those that I would kind of use it all over, not necessarily just for lip lining. The Pop Tint Lip Stains from Hard Candy. Wow, did this blow me away. This is very intense, very bold, in your face. Not what I expected for a lip tint. This actually, it has a lot of opacity. The shade that I have is called Peach Fizz, and it's really nice. It's a nice kind of bright coral, and I will just show you. It's very intense. It's almost like a neon, but when this fades, it looks beautiful. Very comfortable and easy to use. But again, it's super bright. I think this will be perfect for the spring and summer months. I have an idea in mind for a look to use this, but I like how this feels kind of jelly-like. It's not super thin, but not too thick, not too sticky, not too goopy. It's actually a really nice formula, and I was shocked in a good way. The Catrice Plumping Lip Liners. These were made to go with those plumping lip tints that I spoke about earlier, and they are the exact same shade, but just in a lip liner form. This is the lip liner that I have underneath the L'Oreal Plumping Lip Oil. This is a shade called Kiss Bomb, which is a really nice, pretty pink shade. It's a very obvious pink. It's more of a kind of pinkier rose type of shade, and I will swatch it for you. Very creamy, very, very pigmented. Do you see that? Doesn't take a lot of work to apply. It goes on like a traditional lip liner. Even though these say plumping, I don't feel any plumping or stinging or burning. The only thing that I feel is from the lip oil from L'Oreal. but these are actually really nice, and I was surprised. It's very pigmented, creamy, goes on, and it stays on, so I do like. Wet n Wild Mega Stay Extreme Hold Gel. I actually have this on today. It is quite goopy when you first pull this little applicator out. It's a very small, kind of chubby little spoolie. It does have a lot of products, so I do have to wipe that off. It is quite goopy, but it has a nice hold. That extreme hold is true. It does stay on. Doesn't get crunchy, doesn't get hard, white, flaky, doesn't look weird. I do like it. I think it's a really great product for holding the brows. L'Oreal Big Deal. This was quite a big deal. This had some wild claims, and we actually did test that out using several coats. I think I did, I don't know, 70, 80 strokes of this mascara on my lashes, and I was surprised that it actually didn't look too clumpy until I got to the very end. And I didn't realize how much mascara you actually put on until you start counting. Every time the wand touches your lashes, it counts as a stroke, and I can build this up quite intensely. And it doesn't get too clumpy looking. It does eventually. I think all mascaras will, but if you just use the normal amount, you will enjoy this mascara. It gives a lot of length, separation. It volumizes the lashes, makes them kind of fanned out, fluttery, really pretty looking, and that's what I like. It checks off all my boxes. I just certainly won't use as much as they claim you can with this mascara, and I think most people will probably just use a normal amount to what feels comfortable, but thinking about 100 strokes of mascara just sounds kind of wild, doesn't it? But it's actually a really nice one. The e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder Filter. It's a pressed powder that has a bit of glow. I ordered only one shade, light neutral, and this is actually quite glowy. This is not something that is, I would say, for everyone. I would think that someone with dry skin would want something glowy and ethereal and light. It is really pretty on the skin, but it does have some glow. So if you have oily skin, you may not want to use this all over your face. Now this actually would make a nice pretty highlighter for someone with oily skin because it does have that kind of powder finish, and there is glow, but it's not as glowy as a typical highlighter product. So you can use this and kind of tap it just lightly over the high points. You can use a brush and get a little bit of glow for someone with very oily skin that stays away from highlighter. So you can use that and make it work that way. But as far as using this as a setting powder all over the face, I don't think it's for everyone. It does have a little bit of a tint. I don't think you get a lot of coverage from this. It's really pretty. And the formula feels super silky, very elevated for e.l.f. and it's just a few bucks. Of course, e.l.f. products are very affordable to begin with, but I do think that this is something that certain skin types will enjoy, and it just depends on what your personal preference is. For me, it's a time and a place. I will kind of avoid the areas where I have oil or larger pores. I would use this kind of like on the parameters of my face, or lightly dust it with a big, fluffy, super big brush to kind of dust all over it, just to kind of finish the makeup look in a way with this powder, but I wouldn't use this for coverage, and I definitely wouldn't use this as my main foundation product. The Essence It's Bubblegum Fun Bouncy Blush. This is different, it's fun, it's unique. I don't have any blush like this in my collection that has that kind of bouncy kind of texture to it. It feels really nice, very silky, really, really pretty shade. As you can see, it is that typical kind of bubblegum look to the cheeks, and it is pretty. It blends nicely. You do have to build this up, and I like the fact that this isn't super greasy, wet, or shimmery, sparkly. It is a more kind of satiny, leaning matte finish, which I do like, and it does blend nicely with a brush, and it layers really well on itself, building it up, so I do like it. It's fun, it's different, it's cute. Revlon Glimmer Brightening Concealer. This I actually do like. I like how thin the coverage is with this product as far as the formula. It does have some coverage. I wouldn't say this is full coverage. I would say it's a kind of light, buildable to medium, but I like the way it looks. It looks like it's my skin. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't even look like I put anything on as far as like being heavy. Now I can tell obviously that I put something there because I know that I am, but it is a nice formula, and I do like this. They do have some shades that are more brightening, like a pink tone that I'm interested in trying, but the formula is thin. And I like the coverage. It's more of a light coverage, more everyday, more like a no makeup kind of vibe. It doesn't give you full coverage, so just know that going into it. But Revlon does make really nice products, and I do like their concealers, and I do like this one, and I do see myself reaching for this again, and I would recommend that you try this one out as well. CoverGirl True Blend Stick products. We've got some blushes, bronzers, and highlights. The blush that I own is in the shade Sweet Violet. It's a nice, pretty kind of purpley shade, which is actually really pretty, kind of flattering looking on the skin, and I will swatch it for you really quickly there. It blends really nicely, and I do like this formula. I think it has a nice little slip to it. It's not overly greasy, wet looking. It has some pigment, but you can blend this out and soften that. You can use your fingers or a brush. I like to use a brush for this, and it looks really pretty. And that purple shade is different, kind of fun, something out of the box for me, and I do like this formula. I also like the True Skin Enhancer Contour Balm. This does have a kind of balmy texture to it. But again, it's not a balmy that feels very wet and slippery. There is a little bit of slip to this, so you can blend this out. The shade that I have is called Sculpted, and it's really nice. Actually, for a contour stick at the drugstore, I think that they did a nice formula, and there's not many stick contour products at the drugstore that you can choose from, and I'm happy to see that CoverGirl is coming out with one, and the packaging is really, really pretty. Same for the True Skin Enhancer Pearl Highlighter Balms. I do like this one. It has a bit of a kind of balmy sort of feel to it, and it does have some pigment and some glow, of course, because it's a highlighter, but there is a slight kind of feel to this. It feels a little bit hydrating, but not, again, too greasy, too slippery, too oily. So it's really nice for the high points of the face. You can just kind of tap this on. Man, I'm gonna have a lot of highlighter today, but it's actually really, really pretty. And again, I apply this in the same form that I'm demoing right now. I use my fingers for it. You can swipe this on. If you do that, I find that it doesn't quite move as easily as you would want. The finger, the warmth of your hand, I feel like it's best to apply it. It's really pretty. Is it the most amazing stick highlighter that you can buy? No. Is it pretty? Yes. Is it something different and unique for the brand? Yes, it is. I like the packaging, and I do like it. I don't really have anything really bad to say about it. NYX Blade and Shade. I got this all wrong. I ordered one shade called Brunette, and it's very, very warm. It has that kind of reddish undertone, and it doesn't quite work out with my hair. My roots are kind of outgrown, and my hair is quite dark naturally, but when I do color my hair, it has a very obvious red tint to it. It's a very pretty red shade. I don't know if I can even make this shade of pencil work with my freshly dyed hair that's red. This is very, very intense. The applicator is different. It has a little bit of an angle. It's kind of thin, which is nice for someone who wants to do just a quick fill-in. I will swatch this shade, the Brunette shade. As you can see, it is quite warm, and when I put this on with my natural brow hair colors, it pulls a little more red on me. I like the thinness of this, but for someone like myself that likes a full brow like what you see that I have on today, you will go through this incredibly fast. This is for someone who wants to just do little spot fill-ins here and there and has a nice structure and nice shape to their brow to begin with. It has a spoolie, of course, most brow products do anyways. But this is not something that I would say is great for filling in and creating a full, fluffy, thick brow. Not the product for that. I think you would blow through this really, really quickly. The shade is just wrong. The swatch is on the website. It was really hard for me to figure out what shade. I used Brunette before in their other brow products, and it seemed to be fine, but this just runs a lot more warm than I wanted, and it's just not my favorite, and I'm not gonna use this. I just won't. And we made it! Woo! We finished the speed reviews in part 2. Wowee, right? We did a lot of talking today. A lot of speed reviews. I've been testing out product. I have been busy since the beginning of the year trying all these products. This is everything that launched since the start of 2025, and wow, we've got some great products, great recommendations, some not so great products, but overall, the drugstore is really killing it. Like, they have some good formulas, good products. I'm looking down at everything on my desk here, and most of it worked out really well. There was just a few duds here and there, a few little take it or leave it, but for the most part, I am blown away. The drugstore is definitely stepping up their game and giving us really good formulas, great quality products, nice upgraded packaging. So yay, I'm excited to continue using this, and of course you will see these in future videos. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching this part and the first part. Thank you for watching my videos, for just spending some of your day here with me. It means so much to me, and I appreciate you very, very much. And I hope to see you in my next video. Subscribe, we'll do this again. And of course, we've got some new products still coming out from the drugstore, so stay tuned because those reviews are coming your way. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Hit that notification bell. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, you guys, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.